Yeah, mic was working this time because last time I somehow screwed that up. Welcome to my airport and aircraft showcase. Let me just check something really quick before we get started here. I need to make sure that it's capturing my audio properly. Come on. I don't know what's going on. Oh, here we go. Is it working? Just gotta make sure. There we go. Yes, it is. All right, so cool. So again, welcome to my airport and aircraft showcase. So I'm going to first start off with I'm going to first start off over here. This is kind of like the main little base I have here. This has my little village on it, and just kind of like this little mountain hut. Not really much going on over here. Nothing much to show here. So let's just get straight to the cool stuff. I'm going to show you that little runway I built over there to the left. I'll probably show that off last. So here's my little control tower I built. I'm actually kind of proud of this thing. I was originally only going to have my airport out in this direction, but I ended up expanding out that way because there was just, I think there's more room. I'm probably going to put some more runways over here eventually, just so I can have more aircraft to use and take off from. But here's the outside of the control tower. I have three campfires on top as kind of like a marker beacon, since there's really no way to have a rotating beacon that actual airports have. And this control tower was kind of annoying to build because there's not really many angled pieces I could use to kind of get like the actual control tower look. That was part of the main challenge I had in overcoming that. So this kind of has just the four like stilts that most towers have. Obviously, there's no elevator shaft or anything. And I was gonna put like levels and like a spiral staircase going up, but it was just too much. So I just put a longer and a wider staircase with no secondary levels. So up here you have this little balcony that kind of wraps around. Couldn't make the door open inward to make it look good, so I had to make it open outward, unfortunately. Here's the inside. We have two beds here. This is just my friend's little beds that I put for them so they could have like a little living quarters out here. This is the break area where like a controller would go to take his break or her break, whichever. Then they have some shelves and stuff where they would put like drinks or food or snacks or their lunches. And up here's where all the operations are. These are like little tables that have storage. I couldn't make it look quite like a control panel the way I wanted. I kind of did that for my aerial bomber that I'm probably not going to show in this stream just because it's so far away. It's like literally way up to the top of the map, and you can't even see it from here. So you can actually sit in these little chairs and you can look out, and this is where the controller would, do his stuff, give his vectors to all the airplanes and whatnot. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on. And then it's also lit up. So if I ever get to show this at night during this stream, I will do so. But it's all lit up and it looks really good. Also, all the runways are lit up too, especially that one over there, which is like the actual instrument um, instrument runway that you can use to make instrument approaches and neat stuff like that. So let's get to the real reason why you're here. You want to see some of these aircraft. This was the first one I built. This one's I was kind of trying to go for like a multi-engine design. It looks really bad compared to my other ones because this was my first one. This is like the prototype to every single other one I built. Control surfaces are huge. It's got mostly large thrusters and it climbs like a beast, and then it has a hard time leveling off. They can carry three passengers and one pilot. I have a couple aircraft like that one over there can do two pilots, so I can like teach someone else how to fly these aircraft. I plan on teaching my friend Dilly how to fly with that plane here soon, because you can have two people at the controls rather than just one. Have this little step here so you can get in and out. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate how this one flies. Um, Design underneath looks really bulky. You may be wondering why the the landing gears are built the way they are, because when you're landing, if let's say you have to land like on something other than a runway, it's not going to be level ground. and you're going to have a high chance of hitting something. And usually we like to hit trees and stuff. So I have all these little guards built on the wings and on the landing gears so that it doesn't break your landing gear or your thrusters whenever you're trying to land. So it makes it really hard on the plane if you don't have some kind of protection mechanism. Most of the designs I've seen other people build, they're really simple looking and they have zero, I mean, absolutely zero controllability or protective measures built in. They're just made for looks and they give like one little flight and then they're never flown again. I want my airplanes to actually be usable. Like on my survival world with my friend, I built an airplane and I use it all the time to go to different areas. And I'm not landing that airplane on just a runway, I'm landing it everywhere. So it has to have some workability. So let's go ahead and do a takeoff roll here. Begin this right here. Then you can let go of the gas. Now all of my planes are designed to, they're supposed to level off. This one's the only one that really has a hard time leveling off. Because as you can see, it kind of slowly pitches up. The main controls, obviously, are your ailerons, your rudder, and your elevator. Now the elevator, if you want to simulate that, there's not really an elevator in Lego Fortnite. If you want to simulate that, you just activate both channel 2 and 3 at the same, channel 1 and 2 at the same time, and then it pitches you up, and then you just can kind of climb right out, and then it pitches down for you automatically. And we have to remember that these airplanes do behave differently once you get higher, and there is a max ceiling for all airships, so I can't even get to the top of that mountain over there in the distance toward the west. That one way out there, I can't even get out there. So one quick note I want to show you. Whenever I put my left thrusters on, see how there's a tiny thruster on the vertical stabilizer right here, right in the middle of the screen? And that is to help my airplane rotate, or the yawing force that I'm looking for. If you don't have that, your turns are going to be all wacky and uncoordinated. It's not what you want. So I'm pitching up here, activating both channels at the same time. And every time they all go off, we just kind of click all 3 buttons at the same time. Now I have wired my thrusters kind of backwards. So typically, most people would go for, if you click the left button, you would go to the left, but I've wired it to where when I click the left button, my left thruster turns on and it pushes me to the right. That's what I like. Inverted controls on airplane they're decent. I enjoy them. Makes it nice and stable, makes it easy to land, especially if you're trying to do precision landings or land straight. I think landing straight in these airplanes are kind of difficult. Let's head on back to the runway and I'll show you the other designs I have. I actually tried one person's design on a jet, and his little jet air fighter, or whatever, I don't even know which one it was trying to copy. I think maybe like an F-16 of some kind. I'll have to show it to you. It was an utter failure. It couldn't climb at all. And whenever you want to get up to a high altitude, you gotta climb. And if you're gonna clear any mountain, I mean any at all, you have to be able to climb. And his was just unable to climb. Now, no disrespect to him. The plane looks amazing. Not dissing the look. Yeah, hard landing. It's all good. I will show you which plane I'm talking about. We get this thing lined up, and we will begin the rest of the tour. This is actually a tricycle gear. All the other ones are pretty much tail wheel, except for my stealth fighter, which I will show you. I have not shown the stealth fighter on any videos yet. This is going to be probably the second to last one I'm going to show. That's the trainer aircraft I'm going to use. It's a double-seater for 2 pilots. Oh yeah, let me show you the, almost forgot. The failed design is this one. Although the look of it is amazing, I love the guy's design. I actually added a jump seat for a passenger, so that kind of works out. But this thing does not work like at all. It doesn't fly very well. I'm not going to fly it now because it's impossible. It's impossible to land and it turns horribly. That's why I made this one over here. This is my design. This has not come from any videos or anything that I really saw. I used a little bit of inspiration from that guy's design, but most of this is my own. I ended up using the actual vehicle bases rather than just like pieces of what do you call those things? Just get the name. This one, the ceiling. Yeah, he used the cabin roof for his base. I had used the actual vehicle base for this one, so it's a little wider and bigger. And in my opinion, it handles a lot better and it can fly a lot better. So I'm going to do a quick walk around so you can get a good idea of how it's built, in case you wanted to look at that. It's got a whole bunch of thrusters on the back, and these balloons are positioned in a very specific way to help it be more stable so I can level off. Now, even then, it still kind of pitches down, but it still flies straight and level, and I can climb whenever I need to. So I don't really have a proper way of getting on this thing, but this is supposed to be the F-117, the white edition. One thing I want to point out, this aircraft seems to be a little more unstable than the other ones I have built. So if you don't level off perfectly and then hit your thruster, you're not going to fly straight. You're going to slowly drift to the left or to the right, depending on which turn you're rolling out of. And it can be kind of difficult to work around. So as you can see, the same controls as the other plane. If I want to pitch up, I just put all thrusters on, and if I want to level off, I just kind of let go of all the thrusters and then get back to cruise, and then you can just fly straight. So if you want to go to the right, I click the left button. That way it turns my left thruster on, because that's how I like to have it coordinated. Then I turn my right thruster on to go left. And if you want to have a nice sharp turn, I would turn off all the thrusters. I would just turn on the left ones and then level off and go straight and level again. And then maybe even pitch up a little bit. But this plane, it climbs really well. Maybe not as well as the first plane I showed, but it definitely climbs. It might climb better. This thing climbs like a dream. Look at this thing. Of course, if you pitch up too high, then you start going backwards. And you don't want to hit that service ceiling or the max ceiling because I don't want to break my aircraft because it could break if you go too high. I'm not going to find out. I definitely learned my lesson taking an airship out to the middle of the ocean. It was pretty insane, actually. I like to come in for a landing. I kind of get myself situated over the runway, and then I turn on all these thrusters, and then I give it full gas, and then it kind of gently lands. Now that was my guard that just broke. I think this guard I'm actually just going to leave off the back, because every time I come in to land, it just seems to break. But it was there to protect the landing gear. I don't think the back needs any protection anyway on the landing gear. Now you'll also notice this is the only one of my designs that actually has 4 landing gears. All of my other ones have 3 like an actual airplane does. I did that for stability purposes only because this airplane was not working very well when I had it with only 1 landing gear. It would just not level off, and it would always like drift to the left or to the right, like no matter what I did. So again, here's the walk around of the stealth fighter. Feel free to comment your thoughts on it. And if you would like a tutorial, I might be able to rebuild this. I don't remember exactly how I did it, I'll be honest, but I think once you get to this point at the top, this is kind of where it gets confusing because of how all these pieces are angled and built together. And then this little motor right here is like right in the center of it's actually toward the end of that vehicle base. And then it has a whole bunch of thrusters everywhere. Now the channels for these ones, this is going to be channel 3. Pretty much all of these are channel 3 except for this one, which is channel 2, because that's how I like to wire mine. And then this one also is channel 2. Oh, I'm sorry, channel 1. That one's channel 3. This one's channel 1. That one's channel 3. This one's channel 3. This one's channel 2. This one's channel 2. And then this one. That one's channel 3. I'm sorry. This one's channel 1. And then the rest are all channel 3. Not really going off any kind of script here. I'm just kind of showing off the plane. So that's why it's kind of forget my own things. I just kind of design them as I go. Alright, the next one I'm going to show you is this airplane. Again, my aerial bomber stream was a little while ago. But this one again, that one had only one control. This one has two. So this is where I'm going to have my friend sit. I'm going to make him sit on the left. I'm going to sit on the right, just like a real student and flight instructor would. And then you can kind of see how I have this one designed. I have two of the smaller, what is the name of this thing? This one, vehicle base, that one. There's two of those, and they're facing that way. And then there's another large vehicle base, and then it gets systematically thinner. And then I have a bunch of these pieces, and then these two are offset two to the back. So here's all the thrusters. The wings, I've used ancient floors. That way it's nice and strong, because these are 3 hits a piece. So if I run into a tree with this thing, it's not going to be damaged. So because it's a trainer aircraft, I want it to be very stable, very sturdy, very hardy, because it's going to take a beating. So that's what I want on this one. I also have some little winglets here. I think the winglets look really good on these airplanes. And then these are meant for whenever I jump out of the plane, it doesn't like glitch me through or put me out like underneath the wing or on the tire or something weird like that. Sometimes I get stuck in here if I'm trying to exit. I just used the medium engine on this one, and then I put a bunch of the lights as well for my anti-collision and my landing lights. I have all of those right here, and then here's the wingtip ones. Sadly, you can't get red or green in here. I hope that they allow you to dye your lights at some point. Maybe some kind of coloring agent. That'd be pretty cool. This one only has room for 1 passenger. Can indeed sit in there. And of course, the passenger is going to be viewing the plane from this side. So I think somehow maybe going through a passenger ride in this, and then being able to just see the plane and how it works. I think this would be super fun, especially on if you're going really far away. I think that would be really cool. I'm going to jump in the right seat for this one. So this plane's really fast, and if you don't handle it right, it's going to kind of face plant. So I always like to turn on my thrusters here first. I get my running roll, get nice and speedy, and then I turn these ones on. And then I start my climb, because it kind of sinks. And you'll kind of see what I mean. This thing climbs really well, but if you don't level off, it just kind of stays upright. So then you can level off, and then it flies perfectly straight and level. This is what you want in an airplane. So this one I would say has more neutral stability, especially neutral static stability. Because the airplane just kind of tends to just stay wherever you put it, which is good, but maybe not be the best for a trainer, but it'll definitely get the job done. And it sinks like a rock too. May even demonstrate how you land on uneven surfaces. So if I want to go back this way, assuming I don't get attacked by like a bear or something and it destroys my airplane, which has happened, and it makes me really mad when it happens. Looking for a nice little flat area to land in. I see one right over here. So I just kind of get lined up on an approach. See how fast the thing is compared to my other plane. Give myself some altitude here and give it a little gas. And boom, there you go. And then if I want to take off, make sure that you have an area that's clear of trees. Thrusters on. There we go. And then it just pitches straight up. Look at this. Oh, never mind. That didn't last long. gonna go inverted here for a minute. I'm gonna level off. I'm gonna climb again. So yeah, I can literally do a loop-de-loop in here if I leave all my thrusters on long enough. Let's see. Do another one. That one's kind of bad. Thrusters really just push this thing like crazy. It's... There we go. Here's my loop. I'm gonna turn off all my thrusters and then... There you go. That's how you do a loop-de-loop. I actually have never done that before in this plane. It's kind of cool. So this is a really good little airplane I'm gonna train my friend in so that I can build him a plane on our survivor world so that he doesn't just go crash it. So I'd rather him learn on creative where I have infinite materials and just do my thing. Alright, we're going to turn back to the runway now. Gonna use some little tactics here. Okay, I missed the runway because I couldn't see it. Alright, we're gonna turn back around. Gonna have to climb a little bit too. Yeah, again, because this airplane tends to sink a little bit, which is good because it helps with landings. But when you're trying to get to altitude, it can screw you up, kind of. I'm actually just gonna do a loop-de-loop, then level off. Only sad thing about this plane is how fast it is, because it turns wide, it's really fast, and then you have to compensate for that a whole lot. I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, that was decent. It wasn't straight, but it's okay. Lego Fortnite airplanes are not the easiest to control, I'll be honest. And just get it nice and lined up, ready for takeoff for the next journey. And see, that's where it puts me. Sometimes it throws me out here on the thruster. Sometimes it puts me here. Sometimes it puts me in that corner right here where I get stuck. It gets annoying after a little while, but it's fine. All right, the last airplane is for my instrument approach. This is probably my most stable airplane. That's why it's my instrument airplane. This was I think the second one I built. This was actually a prototype to the one I built on my survival world with my friend. I'm going to take this one out over that mountain, and I'm going to show you how I establish my approach. So this is actually a runway. I designed it off real markings. These are like your aiming 500-foot markings. There's your 1,000-foot markings. Obviously, it's not to scale. Here's your green runway threshold lights, your white side lights, and then this is your approach lighting system that I have. This is called an ALS in real life, and I built it. I tried to make it as accurate as possible. Unfortunately, I couldn't make these blinking the way they're supposed to. They're called the rabbit trails or the bunnies. Some people like to call them the bunnies. I've heard them called all sorts of things. But you just follow these rabbit trails straight in, and then that's how you would line up for a center line. And I can't do any center line or any other forms of lighting down the runway because if I did, my airplane would be bumping into them. Fortunately, there are no ground lights that are flush with the ground, so that's impossible right now in this version of Lego Fortnite. My instrument approach, I have one right here, as you can see. So here's my first one. They get progressively more red. So it starts off green. That's your instrument approach fix. This was going to be like my final approach fix. And then here's the point in between. And then here's my missed approach point. That's why it's red. And then the blue one is just the airport. So this red one, let's say I'm too high or I don't see the runway or it hasn't loaded in yet, and I get to this point, this is where I would just go missed. And my missed approach procedure, though it's obviously not published, I would just go straight. I would fly and climb. You could either climb straight or you could climb out here to the right and then come back around this way, and then line up for the approach again and come back in. So I don't really have a hold of any kind. So I think we'll go ahead and just demonstrate this airplane. Let me show you how it's built first. This one actually has room for 2 passengers, 1 pilot. It has 3 landing gears, just like an actual airplane. As you can see, it's kind of offset for weight and balance purposes. Has 1 light at the back, 2 balloons on the tail. These are made out of ancient floors again. Kind of see how that's built there. Put large landing gears so that it makes it nice and cushioned. Put lots of barriers on the front because of the clearance. Its nose is kind of raised up. And then it's got plenty of thrusters. Now these ones, that's channel 1, channel 1. I know this one's channel 3, channel 3, channel 3. Just demonstrating them. There you go. This one has to be opposite, so that's channel 2. These are both channel 3. This one's channel 1. That's for my rudder. These 3 are channel 3, and then these are all channel 2. And that's just about it for that airplane. It's really small. It's decently fast. Speed is not what I was looking for on this one. I was looking for more stability. As you can see, the cockpit is really tiny, and I put some wheel fenders on there. And then I have some open windows as well, so that whenever I can get out of this thing, it puts me either on the wing or it puts me toward the back of the plane. The only way to enter this thing is right here. And I hope instrument conditions actually happen, because that would actually be really cool, because then I could demonstrate the instrument approach. That was a bad takeoff. Let me level off here. So pitching up now. I'm going to take it around the other side of the mountain. Now, unfortunately, I will have to warn. Every time I go around this mountain, my game like freezes. So that's going to happen here soon. So that's okay. As you can see, look how stable this thing is. It just flies straight. Like, I'm not even on the controls at all. I just have the thruster going, and it just levels off by itself. So I'm going to fly over my little lake here. I'm going to land on my runway over here, and then I'm going to take off again, come around this side of the mountain, and then I'm going to line up for my instrument approach, and I'll show you how I navigate on if I had no visuals. Because I actually now have made the instrument approach functionable. So here's that lag I was talking about. And then whenever I come into land, I turn on both of these thrusters and I leave my main ones off. That makes for a nice soft landing. Give it some gas too. Nice little landing roll, and then you slow down. Coming here at night is also really sucks, because there's skeletons everywhere and they like to pop your balloons and break your plane. So make sure that if you're landing somewhere that you make sure that you're clear of any monsters, because it really sucks. I guess I should demonstrate my speedboat while I'm here. I forgot I built this thing. This is a little speedboat I built. Same controls as the airplanes. It's just really slow. Should probably add another thruster. But this thing's kind of fun to just kind of play around with. It was just an experiment. But we're here for the planes. We ain't here for no dang speedboat. And now again, I'm not going to show the aerial bomber in this stream, because it would literally take forever to get out there. I've already streamed me building it, so that stream is the previous one I did before this one. But I might upload a video about that one later. I'm definitely going to upload a video about each of these aircraft individually, so stay tuned for that one. This is just going to be the overview of everything. So what I'm going to do, I've made that little beacon up there so that I know if I don't have visuals, I can just climb above that beacon. It has a little campfire on top of it. And as long as I'm above that beacon, I'll clear all of the trees. So it's kind of like a minimum safe altitude kind of thing. That's what I was going for. Here's that lag I was telling you about. I'll just turn on all my thrusters. And then I'll show you how I line up on the instrument approach. So I'm going to turn out here to the left. Going to get to my instrument approach fix here. Here's the lag. It just freezes your plane, and then it just like unfreezes. I don't know what it does. Makes all these noises that don't make any sense. So there's my first approach fix. Go ahead and get lined up here. Once all those on the top of the map get lined up, then I just kind of follow them in. Kind of screwing up my controls here. So now that those are lined up on my compass at the top of the map, just trying to keep those as lined as possible. There goes my next, now I can see the runway. So at this point you would actually go visual in real life. Not quite on center line, but that's okay. There's the ALS coming in. And that was a really bad landing, but you can kind of get the idea. Had my controls kind of reversed there for a minute because I was thinking too hard about lining up. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole airport. Feel free to leave any comments or suggestions that you have. I'll go ahead and show off this runway one last time. Also, that was just a... What is this guy doing? This is what I mean. These guys are so annoying. They like to break everything. I actually bring brutes and bears with me, like, so that whenever I get attacked by like 12 of these guys, I just throw a brute down. I like lure them away from my plane, and then I just throw a brute down and then just let the brute handle them. It makes it go a lot faster. So again, here's the lighting system at night. So here's the threshold lighting. They're all green, like in real life. Got the white side lights, the 500 footers, the center line markings. Again, none of these are to scale. Here's your 1,000-foot markings, or the captain's aiming point. I don't really remember the exact term for that one, but then you have here your ALS again. Try to make it as accurate as possible, and again, these are unfortunately not blinking. The red lamps are not, but that's okay. They don't need to be. I think that's about it for this airport. I might show off my castle. It's in that direction. I might show that off another day. But again, let me know if you have any suggestions again, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate you watching. I'm out. See you.